Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And it seems like the wide receiver position has gotten more and more valuable, especially when it comes to contract. Guys like Tyreek Hill definitely have gotten paid an extraordinary amount of money. In today's video, I am going to look at all 32 NFL teams and power rank them by their wide receiver duos. So, who, in my opinion, will be the top two receivers on each team? Definitely wasn't easy. There were some teams where uh, there could have been more than there could have been guys on there that I didn't include. Some teams it was hard to choose the top two, but I did my best. We'll start in descending order. And let me know at the end what you guys think, who's too high, who's too low. But let's get started. 32 through 27. So I have the Texans at the rear. John Mechie and Robert Woods. Robert Woods wasn't good for the Titans last season. John Mechie missed his entire rookie season with cancer. Look, happily he's coming back and expected to be fully ready for training camp and everything. Maybe Nico Collins could have been on there, but again, not the best wide receiver crew for first overall pick by Bryce Young. 31st, the Giants, my favorite team. It's hard to pick two because there's so many options and they're all wide receiver 3, 4 guys. I chose Slayton and Campbell. You could go third round pick Jalen Hyatt, second round pick last year Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard, Isaiah Hodgins. So I went Slayton and Campbell, but neither of them are really a wide receiver one. 30th, the Falcons, Drake London and Matt Collins. I will say London had a pretty good rookie year. The numbers don't fully show it because the Falcons were definitely much more of a running team than, say, the Saints with Olave and the Jets with Garrett Wilson. Matt Collins really hadn't done much in his career prior to last year, where he put up maybe 50 for 600 with the Raiders. 29th, the Chiefs. Of course, they have the world's best tight end in Travis Kelsey, but Kadarius Toney, I feel like he's more motivated than he is with my Giants. Played a role in the Super Bowl, definitely did. Marquez Valdez Scantling, I went for number two. Maybe Sky Moore plays more of a role this season. The Cardinals, Marquise Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore should get more of an opportunity now with DeAndre Hopkins gone and AJ Green retiring. But who will be throwing the ball? Packers, Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs. Watson was a touchdown vulture to end the season. Dobbs had his moment as a rookie, but both second-year players. Kind of wish there was a little bit more veteran leadership for Jordan Love, his first opportunity to be the starter. 26 through 21, the Colts, Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce. Pierce going into his second season. Pittman kind of had a disappointing 2022. The Patriots, 25th, Juju Smith-Schuster and Devontae Parker. I was surprised that the Patriots gave Parker the amount of money they did. They gave him an extension maybe 3, 4 weeks ago. Juju, let's see how he does with Mac Jones instead of Patrick Mahomes. 24th, the Panthers, Adam Thielen and DJ Chark. Chark definitely could be a great receiver. Does have a 1,000 yard receiving season in his past, but has had his injury woes of late. Adam Thielen seems to be on the decline as he is aging into his 30s. 23rd, Ravens, Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman. Hard team to rank after Odell missed all of last season. Surprisingly got $15 million. Thought Bateman or Zay Flowers, first round pick. I went Bateman, who was a first round pick in 2021. He's been injured as well. If he could stay healthy, I think he's got like 800 yards in 18 games. 22nd, the Browns, Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. They traded a second round pick in order to get Elijah Moore. Thought Elijah Moore or Donovan Peoples-Jones. If you think he's the second receiver, you could go with that. But Cooper performed well his first season with the Browns. 21st Steelers, Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Johnson definitely going to look to rebound after not having a single receiving touchdown last season. Meanwhile, George Pickens, 800-yard receiving season as a rookie, looking to grow off of that. 20 through 16, and kind of why I waited to do this, I wanted to see where DeAndre Hopkins would sign. Looks like it's going to be the Titans. All reports are. So I put the Titans 20th. Hopkins still mighty productive, was suspended 6 games last season. His yards per reception were fairly low, but I think a fully healthy maybe could be a top 10, top 15 receiver. And I think Treylon Burks will show a little improvement from his rookie season last year. 19th, the Bears, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney. DJ Moore, one of the more underappreciated receivers in the game. I believe he has 3 1,000-yard seasons to his name. Darnell Mooney went over 1,000 yards in 2021. 18th, the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. I think I put him a little lower because I want to account for the fact that Jameson Williams was suspended, is suspended for the first 6 games of the season, but St. Brown has been one of the better young receivers in the game. 17th, the Jets, reigning offensive rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson. Last season he had Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco and Mike White throwing the ball. This year he'll have 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers and Allen Lazard joining his longtime teammate Rodgers with the Jets. 16th, the Broncos, Courtland Sutton. I don't know if he's ever going to be the receiver we saw in 2019, but Jerry Jeudy ended last season very strong, and let's see if Russell Wilson can perform better this year to give these guys better numbers. 15 through 11. 15th, the Rams. Cooper Kupp definitely props them to the top half because we know he's one of the most productive receivers in the game. Van Jefferson, we saw Allen Robinson really struggle in that wide receiver 2 role for the Rams last season. Jefferson's had his moments, but never sustained it for a full season. One of the hardest teams to rank here. I have the Saints 14th. They could definitely be much higher. But Chris Olave, one of the best rookie receivers last season, went over 1,000 yards. But Michael Thomas, we haven't seen enough of him on the field for the past 3 years. Was arguably the most productive receiver for a 2-year period. That has passed. Can he stay healthy? 13th, the Bills, and they're propped higher because Stephon Diggs, arguably a top 5 receiver in the game. Gabriel Davis was expected to do more for the Bills last season after that 200-yard, 4-touchdown playoff game against the Chiefs. Well, he still had 800 yards on the year. Only caught a little over 50% of his targets and definitely was expected to do more. 12th, the Chargers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Keenan Allen, has had the injury bug the past few seasons, missed a bunch of games. Mike Williams does have some injury woes at times himself, but when they are both in the lineup, they are still productive. Another hard team to rank. I have the Jaguars 11th, Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. Of course, Calvin Ridley has mostly missed each of the last 2 years, suspended all of last season, played just 5 games in 2021, but he was awesome in 2020. Meanwhile, Kirk had a career season with the Jaguars last year, his first with the team. Moving on to the top 10. 10th might surprise you, the Washington Commanders. I think Terry McLaurin might be the most underappreciated receiver in the game when you look at the quarterbacks who have been throwing him the ball, from Carson Wentz to Taylor Heinicke. He's never had a above average quarterback really, and he still produces. And Jahan Dotson was a red zone threat to end the season. I think he ended his rookie season with 7 touchdowns. I expect him to show a lot of improvement. They might not have top 10 receiver numbers, though, because again, don't have that star quarterback. Looks like Sam Howell's going to take the reins. Ninth, the Buccaneers. While Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are still productive, both went over 1,000 yards last season. I think Godwin did. But anyhow, Evans, it took a awesome game against the Panthers for him to continue his streak of over 1,000 yard seasons. And Chris Godwin didn't even average 10 yards a catch. Yes, 104 catches for 1,023 yards. And of course, they won't have Tom Brady throwing the ball this year. Eighth, the Raiders. Devontae Adams definitely props them up. Arguably a top 2 or 3 receiver in the game. Hunter Renfrow was a bit of a disappointment last year after a great 2021. So they did sign Jacoby Myers in free agency. I believe he'll step in as the number 2. Seventh, the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb has been mighty productive since joining the NFL. And they traded for Brandon Cooks. Cooks didn't put up great numbers last season due to subpar play from Texans quarterbacks and the Texans in general. But this is a guy who's had over 1,000 yards receiving for 4 different franchises in his career. Sixth, the Vikings. Of course, they're also propped up because Justin Jefferson put up otherworldly numbers last season. Meanwhile, Jordan Addison, a first-round pick, was the Biletnikoff winner in 2021 for the nation's top receiver. And let's go with the top 5. My top 5 Seahawks. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Part of why people believe Geno Smith might not drop off this season after what looked like an outlier 2022 is because he still got his star-studded wide receiver crew. And they also added another wide receiver in the draft. So that gives them a dynamic top 3. Fourth, the 49ers, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I couldn't think of who the receiver was, but yes, Jackson Smith and Jigba is who the Seahawks drafted. So a dynamic trio. Fourth, the 49ers, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk put up a career numbers with the 49ers last season. Deebo Samuel, just all productive, does so much on the field, also a running threat. Didn't quite perform as well as he did in 2021, but still an awesome wide receiver. Third, the Eagles. We knew the trade for A.J. Brown would definitely help Philadelphia. We didn't know it would help that much, and Devonta Smith definitely showed improvement in his sophomore season. These two definitely make life for Jalen Hurts a lot easier. Second, the Bengals. Jamar Chase put up awesome numbers through his first 2 seasons in the NFL, the 2021 Offensive Rookie of the Year. T. Higgins, one of the most productive number 2s in the game, and again, one of the most productive number 3s. Tyler Boyd, not even included on here, but Higgins gone over 1,000 yards each of the last 2 seasons. And atop the list, speed kills. And we saw that with the Dolphins last season. Tyreek Hill has already gone on record saying that he wants to go over 2,000 yards receiving this season. Just so he doesn't fully seem selfish, he also said that he predicts that and that the Dolphins will win the Super Bowl. But an incredible first season with the Dolphins last year, finished 4th in Offensive Player of the Year voting. And Jalen Waddle was awesome as well for Miami. Saw his yards per reception nearly double. He led the NFL, averaging 18.1, 75 catches for 1,356 yards. To me, that is the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. But let me know in the comments which you agree with, which you disagree with. Who did I put too high? Who did I put too low? Definitely was fun doing this, though. Coming in future, I plan on power ranking all these starting quarterbacks from the Super Bowl. So from Stan Humphries to Joe Montana, all of them throughout the years of the Super Bowl. And I also want to do power rank the duos in the NBA for all 30 teams. Problem is kind of waiting on to see where Damian Lillard and James Harden end up, but to be honest, that might take a while. But we'll see when they come. But anyhow, daily videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.